Hey everyone, Daunter here. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the different cards in the set The Glory of Team Rocket. I realized that I didn't make a tier list for this set, so we are going to be doing that. Regardless, this video is me specifically talking about the Glory of Team Rocket art rares and special art rares. If you're new to the channel, I'm Daunter, trying to get to 750 subs. Wow, that's crazy. I'm already at 604, which is crazy. Once again. But regardless, if you enjoy the video, subscribe. Consider subscribing, consider liking, consider commenting, that'd be great. Anyways, let's get straight into it. I'm not gonna play around here for so long. So, firstly, we have the Spidops by NC Empire. Now, I don't know if you've seen my previous videos uploaded recently, but you might assume that I love this card, and that assumption would be completely correct. I'm putting it straight into S tier, no questions asked. I love it. I have no complaints. It's a Team Rocket Pokemon, so that's cool. It's Spidops, which is like one of my favorite Gen 9 Pokemon, so obviously I have bias there. But the colors and the shading obviously really amplify that. Next, we have the Houndoom by Nagimiso. Now, this card, I like it a little bit less, but I still like it a lot. I think that Houndoom is perfectly detailed, very fiery, very muscular, and Archer is cool. That's his name, right? Archer. And I like the kind of perspective that you have with the Pokemon jumping up and then the trainer looking up as well. Cool. I'll put it in B tier for now. Next, we have the Blaziken by Kodama. This card is pretty cool as well. I don't really have a lot to say about this card. A little bit less to say about this card than I do about the Houndoom because it's just the Pokemon, no trainers to like add some more dimension to the scene here. And also the background is kind of blurry, so it's also kind of hard to tell what's going on. But Blaziken's in a cool kicking pose. I mean, I can't complain about that. I'm putting it right below the Houndoom. Next, we got the Clamperl by Moryu. Now, most people would probably put this at the very bottom, but I don't think it's that bad. I think Moryu is a fantastic artist as of recent. I think that their cards are great. I love the style of this card. I love the algae and the plants and stuff. I think it looks very interesting. And I like the perspective as it's just like looking straight up and out into the rest of the ocean there, which is really cool. It's a cool perspective. I actually kind of like it more than the Blaziken, to be honest, but not as much as the Houndoom. I'm going to put the Houndoom up in A tier. Next, we've got the Team Rocket's Wobbuffet by Saboteri. This card is great. The perspective and like the kind of fisheye lens that this card has is really cool. I love how you get to see like most of the Rocket hideout that we've got here with those barred windows. You have the portrait of Giovanni. You have a Persian neon light. You have a Sneasel sitting on top of Rocket's trainer. A Team Rocket Grunt, that's what it is. Team Rocket Grunt's lap. You have Drowsy, you have Wobbuffet itself, keys, chips, all the whole shebang and chagrin. I like it. I think it's really cool. It's filled with a lot of personality. I'll put it in S tier. I really like it. Next, we've got the Orbeetle by Hagenosuke. I really like this card as well. Again, it's just the same kind of thing with like that personality. You get to see the Team Rocket Grunt running for his life. As this Pokemon is like mischievously floating around, and you have like the spotlights like they're gonna get caught. I like how the background is kind of flush with the foreground. It is like an all kind of a similar color, but you still kind of do see those like dignifying traits such as like railings. You have the ladder, more railings, some pipes and stuff, so you can still see what's going on in the card, even though it is still kind of hard to tell, just because it's all the same color. But they make it distinct, which is nice. Next, we have the Weezing. Now, this is the card that I've taken the least look at out of all the art rares or special art rares. I think this card is nice. I think it's cool. I don't know the trainer very well, but the Pokemon itself is pretty interesting. I think he's just like, well, he's not particularly interesting. He's just kind of floating around. But I think Yukihiro Tada did a really good job with like the environment around the Pokemon. It's like very grungy, very kind of like real and lived in, which is a very good thing. It's a very good thing to have. So I'm going to put it in like B tier. I don't like it as much as the Clamperl, but I like it more than the Blaziken. Next, we have the Murkrow by Akira Komayama, the Team Rocket's Murkrow. I think that the trainer in this card looks really great. I think that the Pokemon itself looks really great, and that kind of like futuristic Neo style city is really cool. With like the vapor wave sun in the back, and like all the lights are being like this uniform like yellow color, as well as some of the lens flares being yellow as well. It's very succinct. Murkrow is surprisingly big, but I think that works out pretty well. I don't know if that's like to scale. Not that that's a bad thing. But he just takes up a lot of space in the card, which is a good thing. It's very like focal pointy, and both of the items in the card actually do take up a good portion of the card itself. So I think that makes it stand out nicely. Next, we have the Zamazenta by the Takumi Wada. This card is probably one of my favorite art rares in the set, just to how cool it looks. Like, Zamazenta itself looks fantastic. That expression is like angry and justified, kind of like its Pokemon traits. You have the rising sun in the background, which looks really cool, and the sky is like this deep orangey like blend. It looks great. I love it a lot, actually. I'm going to put it above the Orbeetle and the Murkrow. I like it more. And I'm put the Orbeetle above the Murkrow. I like it a little bit more. Next, we have the Raticate, and this is probably one of my favorite cards from the set, to be honest with you. I don't know why, it just has so much personality. The Rocket Grunt, he looks so mischievous. I think that that's like the perfect way to portray the trainer. And you know, you have all the Raticates causing a ruckus, a mess, and like being evil, you know, just being mischievous. Which I think is the perfect way to portray the Pokemon. You know, you also have a nice background as well, as you can kind of see like super far down the tunnel, so it's not like cheaped out on. It's not like, you know, kind of lazy. No, there's still intent. You know, you have a bunch of signs in the back, even though they're covered by the trainers, so it's like there's clear effort and care put into the world still. And you have like the wires as well that are like half bitten, half eaten by the Raticates, which is a really good touch as well. So I think that this card it plants itself in S tier, weirdly enough. I never would have thought I would put it in S tier before, but I think I really love it. Just the personality is great. Next, we have the Meowth. Chimeras Yukichi, again, a very recent artist, so it's really cool to see them kind of branching out and doing a little bit more. Very cute looking Meowth card. I think a lot of people really like this card. I think it is the most expensive art rare in the set in terms of just like raw value. So that's cool. I think Giovanni looks cute, weirdly cute. He's very very chibi kind of styled, and that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing at all. I think this card is really cute. I like it a lot. I'm going to put it in A tier. I'm going to put it below the Zamazenta just because I personally prefer the Zamazenta a little bit more. And I'm just going to put these cards a little bit down. But they're still great. Next, we have the Kangaskhan also by Mekaiu. So they did these two, which is cool. They did just 2 art rares in the set, which is interesting. But it's cute. I like how Quagsire looks kind of silly, kind of blank starey. And Kangaskhan is just like looking, you know, right next to him with like that sun. The sun in this card looks really great, and the mountains also look really great. The trees look fantastic. The houses, it adds some nice detail. You know, they're standing next to a road, which is still it's a very visually distinct location. I will give it that. But it's just not one of my personal favorites in the set. Just because it is kind of just like a single moment of the 2 Pokemon interacting, and they're not really interacting. They're just kind of looking at each other. So it's not really as like energetic as the Raticate. So I'm gonna put it like I'm gonna put it in like C tier. I don't particularly like think it's the best art rare in the set, just because I think that this Raticate is so good, and some of the other cards in the set are just so good. Moving on to special art rares, we have the Moltres by Akiragawa. I think this is most people's favorite out of the 4, or the Crobat. But the Moltres is really, really good. Obviously, I have a bias towards Akiragawa, as they are my favorite artists in the Pokemon TCG. So, you know, there's a bias there. But it is still a fantastic looking card, even despite that. I think that the fact that it takes up so much of the space in the card is really, really astounding. Really cool, but you still have this incredibly detailed city in the background. You have the trainer who's like looking off into the distance. And Akiragawa will obviously never disappoint with their illustrations. I think that they all look fantastic almost always. So I think that it's an S tier card, personally. You know, just my opinion. So I'm gonna put it like I really love the Raticate a lot. Actually, I think I'm gonna move the Raticate up and put this one like this. I really, really, really like the Raticate for some reason. But the Moltres is really cool. We have the Mewtwo by Iwamoto05, the most controversial card of the set. People either love it or they hate it. It is still, regardless whether you like the artwork or not, it is the most expensive card in the set. It's sitting around like $400, $500 or whatever, which I personally think is kind of ridiculous. I don't think there's a real good reason for it to be that expensive, but I still do think it looks like a really good card. I was defending this card, so obviously I think that means that, you know, that shows you that I like it to some extent. I think that the aura around Mewtwo is really cool. I think that background is fantastic. I think Giovanni looks really, really good, actually, on this card. I think that it's probably one of his better depictions, just like visually. I really like it a lot. I'm going to put it in A tier. I think it's a great card. I'm going to put it, you know, right above the Zamazenta. I prefer this card to the Zamazenta. This one will move down to B tier. I do think it's really cool though. Next, we have the Nidoking by Uninori. Out of the 2 Giovanni cards, I definitely prefer the Mewtwo. Or I guess there's 3, right? No, there's only 2. There's only 2. I prefer the other one. This one is cool too. Personally, I feel like Nidoking does take up a little bit too much space in the card, and it's kind of hard to tell what's going on. Obviously, you have the Pokemon attacking, but what is he attacking? You know, like there could be a little bit more clarity on that. and I think that that's totally fine. You know, it still looks like a really good card, but I just personally would have preferred like a bigger picture kind of scale of a battle. Though the card is still not bad, obviously. I think it's like a C tier or like a B tier card. It's gonna sit right here for now. I think that that's totally fine, and that's totally a fair placement. Next, we have the Crobat by Coach 8i. There's so much about this card that I absolutely adore. First of all, the dynamism of the Pokemon in this card are astounding. You have all the different Pokemon flying different directions. You know, they all have like their own little personalities, which is great. The Crobat itself in the foreground is just so like expressive. The trainer as well is drawn so fantastically. You know, the way that it has like its shoe all the way out here and it's kind of like kicking back and jumping forward. It's really, really cool. I think this card is astounding. It's really, really, really good. Probably one of my favorite cards in the set. Actually, I prefer it to the Moltres. I kind of almost prefer it to the Raticate. And I almost prefer it to the Spidops. I think I kind of like it more than the Spidops, personally. And yeah, I think this is my favorite card in the set. Cool. That's the completed list. I still got the other two alt arts, so let's rank them. These two don't really fit in with the Pokemon, so these two, like A and S, are in relation to each other and other special art trainers specifically, not specifically the Pokemon, right? So when you see me rank the Giovanni pretty high, you know that means that it doesn't mean that particularly I like the Giovanni more than all these art rares. A lot, like, you know, so much more, but it's just more like the fact that I think it's a really good special art rare trainer, right? I think it looks really good. And maybe it goes down here. And then this one, it's pretty cool. Let me actually pull up the full picture so I can put a little bit of respect on it. It's the Adriana by Yoshioka. It's cool. I think Yoshioka is a brand new artist, pretty sure. The background leaves a little bit to be desired, I think, personally, because it's just like snow or wind or air or something. I'm not exactly sure. The trainer herself, she is drawn very beautifully. I think that the trainer, I think that that's pretty easy to admit that the trainer itself is drawn very nicely. But I don't, it's not particularly evoking any emotion in me like the Giovanni one is, with like its different colors and different like style, like the different trainers. You know, them all having their own unique personalities and stuff like that. Giovanni looks conniving, inviting, good. This one, it doesn't really like, I don't know. I kind of like just don't really have anything to say about it, and that's kind of how I feel about it. So I'm gonna put it in C tier. I don't hate it though. I don't hate any card in this set. Obviously, there's not a single card that I would really put in D tier. But this is my ranking for the glory of Team Rocket. If you agree, let me know in the comments. If you disagree, also let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinion. Regardless, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.